All right, so when we're talking about this non-aggressive stance, we want to take a few things into consideration as to what we're actually doing. So I'm not going to focus on this for too long. I do specific seminars and courses and things on this, and of course there's online stuff as well that you can get. So I just want to overview briefly what we're talking about. So when we talk about this non-aggressive stance, defense, whatever you want to call it, however you describe it, that's up to you. When we talk about that, we're doing a number of things. Number one, we're trying to control the physical space. So what I mean by that is we're trying to control the range, we're trying to control the environment, we're trying to control our positioning, we're trying to control where we are in relation to them, but we're also trying to control what it is that they can do, right? We're trying to cut down their options. So if you think about what kind of attacks they can do, if they're out enough at range, if we can read the posture, if we can understand that, then we can cut off a great deal of their attacks. And we can only really leave them with a few options, right? So nothing is foolproof, but for the most part, most people will throw what's called a sniper option, right? They'll throw their best shot, right? So they're not going to necessarily do something half-cocked. If they want to hit you, there's a good chance they're going to throw their best shot in the way that they can. Now, that's going to lead to a thing called pre-attack cues. So for somebody to throw a hard shot, they've got to change their balance. They've got to set it up. There are tells that you can see if you know what you're looking for. So our positioning allows us to do that as well. So not only are we cutting off the angles and we're giving them less options, we're also driving the physical conversation in the sense that we're saying, okay, you can't really do A, B, and C, so you're only really left with D. And also, you can manipulate the person with that. You can trigger them, you can set them off, you can get them to back down. You can find out whether they're a biter or a barker by the way that you have this physical conversation in this range, okay? So let's just say that it's gone past the point of conversation, they're going to throw a punch. Now, there are a number of different things that they're likely to do before that happens, and that's what you're looking for, hence the pre-attack cues. So one of the obvious ones is there'll be a balance shift. So if you think about throwing a ball, if you want the ball to go a couple of feet, you can just throw it and it'll go. If you think about throwing a ball at distance, then you're going to lift it, you're going to throw it, and your whole body goes through that movement. Same with a punch. So you'll see that body shift, you'll see that balance shift, right? Quite often you'll see other things as well. You'll see them looking around just to make sure there's nobody about. You'll see them clench their fist. You'll see them take a breath. Sometimes their pupils will dilate, right? Sometimes their colour will start to go from their face. They'll get monosyllabic, yeah, and what, that sort of thing, right? These are all pre-attack cues. These are all things to tell you that they're shifting from that logical thought process into the more animal side of what they do, and that's going to be the reaction. So all of these things start to tell you a story. Now, when we understand all of that, and when we get a handle on all of that, then it takes away a lot of the fear of it, because we kind of know that we know it's a pantomime. And that's why I call it the pantomime of violence, because we know that that's what it is. It's a dance, right? It's a setup, it's a procedure. It's something that we all go through. Even the people that know what they're doing, even the people that understand it, they still will have the same kind of feelings and emotions. They just learn to cover them better. So once we understand all of those things, and we understand that this non-aggressive stance, this positioning, isn't to cause a fight, quite the opposite. It's to stay out of a fight. If we can talk them down, if we can communicate, if we can use conflict management, that's exactly what we're going to aim to do. We don't want to be physical if we can possibly help it. But what we do want to do is put ourselves in a position where if we have no other choice, if it's become, if it's got that bad where a physical action is required, then we can. So I don't want to go on about this non-aggressive stance all day long, because I want to get onto the more physical side of this particular video, but I did want to outline that. I've got plenty of other things on this. I talk about this in depth in lots of different other videos, so feel free to look at those and follow them through, or come and jump on one of my seminars. But in the meantime, I'm going to get on with the physical portion now. Hope you enjoy it.